Hi, I'm Ray and this is the PhoneArena Q&A. First, let's start off with a question by apphijitkumar.net. Hi Ray, which combo is better? Android phone with an iOS tablet or an iPhone with an Android tablet, considering price also as a factor? I want to enjoy what both OSs have to offer, so I'm facing this conundrum. I want to upgrade to an iPhone only when Apple launches a big screened device, preferably a phablet, than current generation. Thanks. Now, I would say that this is a rather complex question. On one hand, it's cool having access to both iOS and Android, but on the other, one of the bigger troubles that quickly comes to mind in this situation is that you have to buy some applications twice, whereas if you have a phone and a tablet running on the same operating system, you naturally have to have access to all of your apps on both devices with just a single payment. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you insist on having both operating systems, I would say that getting an Android phone plus an iPad would be the better choice, because tablet applications for iPad are just awesome. I mean, games, apps, as far as I know, Android is still miles behind Apple in the tablet apps category, whereas on the phone, Android apps and games are pretty much comparable to those available for iPhone. Sebastian Simon has a rather interesting inquiry. Hi Ray, I would just like to know, for how many years to come do you think today's flagships, such as the Sony Xperia Z2 or even the Z1, can perform nice and smoothly before starting to get outdated or downright slow? Thank you for answering our questions. Now, that too is a complex question, I think, because we can't know for sure in what direction the industry is going to drift in the future, but we can look at the past and see which are the oldest phones that we can still consider usable and well performing today. Phones from the last year, like the Galaxy S4, the One M7 and the Xperia Z, I think are obviously perfectly functional today. 2 years back, there's the Galaxy S3, the HTC One X phones, and I would say that these are still holding up pretty well, though I'm not really sure if this would apply to Android phones from other brands from that time. And that's where I would stop 2 years back. Not that older phones have stopped working, they do, but the compromises in various areas of the experience start to get quite obvious. So when it comes to the future, provided that you buy a popular flagship phone today, I think it will easily stay relevant for 2 or maybe even 3 years from now, though of course that's just a guess. Mohammed Ben's question is up next. Hi Ray, I was wondering if Sony's Xperia Z2 20.7 megapixel camera makes better than the one in the GS5 or even the iPhone 5s. Thanks. Well, the Z2's camera is superb, no two ways about it. On whether it's better or worse than those of the Galaxy S5 and iPhone 5s, well, judging by our camera comparison featuring all of these handsets and more, it appears that the Z2 is on par with the S5. That's our overall score. The iPhone 5s is slightly behind these two, all in all. And looking at most of the categories that we examine, such as details, indoor images and colors, both the Z2 and the S5 are really neck and neck there, so I hope this answers your question. We'll wrap it up with a question by our fellow YouTuber, Matster7412. Hi Ray, thank you for answering my question in your last video. Anyway, my friends and I are having a debate about which is better, the iPhone 5s or the Galaxy S5. Out of the 10 people I asked, 7 people said they liked iPhones better, but I don't see why, not because their UI isn't nearly as intense as Android's, and on paper they don't even have HD screens. What's your opinion on this? Which is better, the iPhone 5s or the Galaxy S5? Oh, and by the way, you and John are my favorite reviewers. Thank you, thank you. I don't know why you had to drag me into this, but anyway, I would just say that both phones are great. The iPhone 5s is the more premium of the two, the Galaxy S5 is the more open one. It doesn't really matter that the iPhone doesn't have HD resolution on paper because it doesn't need one due to its smaller screen. I guess the comparison will be a bit more fair when the new iPhone launches with its bigger screen, but at the end of the day there will still be some fundamental differences in the way that both platforms work, and that should be totally fine for everyone. Not everyone needs widgets and not everyone needs a beautiful phone, so I guess we should start accepting the idea that different people may enjoy different stuff. So that was all for today's episode of the PhoneArena Q&A. Be sure to post your questions below for next time or in our Q&A post at phonearena.com.